The awaited battle of Gojo versus Sukuna is finally here, and it started out as strong as it could possibly be. We got some flashbacks like I anticipated. Gojo and Sukuna obviously were the eye candy of the chapter, but Gakuganji, Ichichi, and Utahime were the most key parts of this whole thing. And the fact that they were a part of something like this says a lot of Gege's writing. He's definitely putting purpose over moments, and the best way to describe this chapter, it just felt like a boxing event. We get the pre-match conversation between the fighters and their coach and their crew. Then we get into the action and we still get the hype of both fighters as the fight goes on. And if we're talking like a Hajime no Ippo type feel, then this definitely gave off a vibe of Ippo's first round chapter. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. Get a flashback of Gojo and Gakuganji talking, and Gaku told him that he was responsible for killing Yaga. This was the conversation I kind of expected to happen once I saw how the end of chapter 222 ended, with Gaku and Gojo being side by side. Gojo isn't mad at Gakuganji though, similar to how Panda wasn't really mad at Gakuganji personally. And Panda is listening in on this conversation. He probably wants to know more about Gakuganji's choice of dialogue rather than Gojo's, because I feel like Panda will kind of know how Gojo will react. And I like that Gojo also took accountability for being sealed, because of course if he's not sealed, nothing that took place in Shibuya really happens. But they mentioned Gakuganji having the information regarding the cursed corpses and Panda, and Gojo says that the information is special grade level information that he's holding. I do wonder when this can actually be used in the story, like finding out the time where they can craft this stuff and make cursed corpses for their benefit, unless they did something in the time skip, because that's the information that can create a mini cursed corpse army if they're willing to go that far and do something like that. I like that Gojo peeped that Gaku has changed, because Gakuganji is a dog who follows orders. Normally he would have told the higher ups about the info he received from Yaga before his death, which is why Gojo is relying on him so much right now. I told y'all Gege was gonna go with these flashbacks. Now y'all need to just lock in, quit falling for the trends. Also, we see clearly Yaga's last words before death is kind of affecting Gakuganji. Gojo also said it would have been better if he was at the head, meaning Gakuganji, the head of the higher ups in the headquarters, as they show a panel of the higher ups that were slaughtered by Kenjaku. I guess in hindsight, you know, he's kind of lucky he wasn't in the office at that time. Flipping over to Ichichi, we know what his important task was, which is to place a barrier to help Gojo's attack create a misdirect for Sukuna. Ichichi is the man Gojo trusts the most. That's a really cool moment for Ichichi, especially coming off the mini flashback in 211. And I'm making this a feat for Ichichi. He's not going to get any, but if he does have a feat, it's going to be this. We see them in the present time of Ichichi giving Gojo a catch up of what happened in Shibuya and what happened to the people in B5 and the city overall, which is pretty good to have, because, you know, we still know that Gojo clearly cares about the people, even though realistically they don't really play that much of a role in the grand scheme of things. Utahime, Gakuganji, and Ichichi were all playing support and helping Gojo set up his blitz attack. So I feel like it should be no surprise that Utahime's technique revolved around singing, because Uta in their name means song or singing. The solo prohibition zone. Any sorcerers, including Utahime, will have their curse energy reserved and output temporarily enhanced as long as they remain in the range of our zone. And since she didn't emit any of the hand signs, incantations, dances, or instruments, the entire ritual, she was able to achieve 120% of the normal effect. Basically, Utahime is that support character in a multiplayer that buffs attacks for a short period of time, except she maximizes everyone's output to their highest level. This is a solid moment for her, and especially in a fight of this magnitude. I always kind of expected her technique to be really support based, or something that just did not have a lot of crazy output or damage, so this was kind of on par for what I expected. Same for Gakuganji. It's pretty ironic that he and Utahime have music-based abilities. I was mainly happy though for Ichichi the most, because he's just a regular dude setting up a strong barrier in a fight between the two strongest sorcerers in history. I mean, just look at where we first met him and look at him now. That's some pretty good character development for such a minor character. Gojo launches a 200% output enhanced hollow purple. And hollow purple doesn't omit hand signs. This is the most powerful hollow purple in the series, and this double spread looks fantastic. The second double page of Sukuna reacting to the hollow purple is great as well. You can see Sukuna's quick shock due to Ichichi's barrier of how strong this hollow purple surprise attack was as soon as he felt how much curse energy was just put into it. This definitely needed double page spread treatment, and some of the color pages people did for this was really cool too. I like how people like adding their own effects to it. A lot of that is fire. both of the skyscrapers they were standing on just get demolished from top to bottom, adding even more rubble to the already fucked up Shinjuku. Man, when this gets animated in like probably 2027 or something, it's gonna be nuts. Sukuna was able to react fast enough, and from the looks of it, lost half of his arm and of course his robe, because Sukuna never keeps a regular shirt or anything on in his fights. And this panel of the strongest sorcerer in history versus the strongest sorcerer of today is pretty tough. Like I said, it looks and reminds me of like a boxing or even a UFC main event type feel. And Gojo looks, for some reason, he looks just cracked out of his mind right here in this panel. I don't know what it was. Maybe Gege was rushing to get this one done, but Gojo's face just looks really just off. That purple was a giant attack. Can't forget though, he's getting all the curse energy back, which is just, that's how broken Gojo is. Yes, Sukuna himself has an endless amount of options now. He has the 10 shadows technique. This is just gonna be a classic. Gojo talking big trash. I mean, this dude just has nothing but confidence exuding off of him. And he tells Sukuna that in this moment, even though I launched the first attack, you are the challenger. I'm the guy that you had to beat, not the other way around. Kind of like saying I'm the champion and you're the challenger in this situation. Banger chapter, really fun to read. If I had to give it a rating, maybe like an 8 out of 10, I really enjoyed this one. And there's definitely, to me, going to be a large amount of intensity just added into the next one. I think instead of a flashback or anything review, we're probably not going to get nothing of that until like another couple chapters. But I could definitely see next 2 or 3 is going to be high octane action, and I really just cannot wait to see peak sorcery at its finest between these two. As for what Sukuna can respond with, because I do think Sukuna is going to counter next chapter, I feel like he's going to use one of his 10 shadows. You know, I'm not sure which one, but I think he's going to try to swarm Gojo, kind of get Gojo off balance per se. I feel like he might lead with Divine Dog or Demon Dog and then go from there. That's kind of what I'm anticipating to happen. I enjoyed that little chatter with Ichiji and Gojo kind of asking, you know, how did they recover from my domain expansion, and pretty much if he didn't do it as quick as he did with the .2, they probably would have had some severe brain damage, which is pretty intense to think about. But at least he still cares about the innocent people, I should say, even though at this time it does not really matter to me at this point. Just like those innocent people just don't really have any value. He still cares. Well, so it's not like Gojo is just he's so cocky that he just does not care for anybody. So that's always just cool to see, kind of like that inverse of Gojo's kind of character. And the way Gege used pretty much the auxiliary characters in this chapter, I just really liked. You could definitely tell characters like that, he's not really keying on trying to make them look cool whenever he can, more so just giving them a reason to still be in the story. This is going to be their big moment. Same for Utahime. I know some people want to see it early. I never was big on Utahime like that, but this is kind of the most I can anticipate for, especially Ichichi. That was really cool from him. And I think Gakuganji might have a little bit more of a role to play later on compared to these two, because I mean, I'm pretty sure that he's going to be the next leader of the new Jujutsu society or whatever's going to happen with the higher ups. I think he's definitely going to fill in that role, as long as he doesn't get off in the next fight or two. So that's going to be his role, and maybe he might even do something with Panda, which I think would be pretty nice, like near the end of this whole final arc. So Gakuganji, I think he might have like 1 or 2 more things to do. And I do think, like, we got Gojo's flashback with what happened in that whole time skip, we're gonna get something from Sukuna and probably Arame, just to kind of get like what they were doing. I'm anticipating something with Sukuna probably not until like 226, 225. Enjoy, leave a like, of course, you already know the old deal. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the second channel, you know, we got good stuff over there coming as well. I'll let y'all in the next one. Peace. How I got my